Hi everyone, it's Dr. G, back to talk to you about common elements of culture. So let's go ahead and get started. Although cultures vary greatly, they all have common components. So in this short video presentation, I will discuss 5 of the most common non-material, intangible components of culture, including gestures, language, values and beliefs, norms, and sanctions. These are oftentimes referred to as symbolic culture because in essence, they are symbols. Symbols are the basis of culture. So in cultural terms, a symbol is anything that carries a particular meaning recognized by people who share a culture. So some examples include flags, traffic signals, roadside restaurant signs, but also mother, father, teacher, neighbor. All of these statuses are also symbolic and they make up part of our culture. So let's start with gestures. Gestures are the ways in which people use their bodies to communicate. And people in every culture use gestures, and their meaning may change completely from one culture to another. All right, so for example, in the United States, someone is standing by the side of the road doing this. That means to us that they are a hitchhiker and they want a ride. But you can't go everywhere in the world and stand by the side of the road and do this and have it mean the same thing, because in some countries, if you did this, you are telling people to do something they probably don't want to do, and it's offensive. So if you go to Israel, what you will find is hitchhikers will put 2 fingers together like this and they will point down to the road. That is their gesture or symbol for I want to ride, okay? So let's take a look at language. Language is another major element of culture, and language is defined as a system of symbols that allows people to communicate with one another. And think about how incredibly important language is to us. Language allows us to move beyond the immediate time. It allows us to share a history and a past. It allows us to plan a future, okay? So take the word that I have in the bottom left-hand corner as an example, chair. In English, a chair is a symbol for the picture that I have to the right-hand side of a chair. Okay? We all know what a chair looks like. However, if you look at this squiggly area down here at the bottom, that could be the symbol for this thing if we agreed upon it. But see, we don't agree upon this symbol being a representation for this. This is what we have agreed this will represent. All right, so language is symbols, all right? Most spoken languages globally, number 1, Mandarin Chinese, followed by English, Hindi, Spanish, and Arabic. Most social scientists believe that language is the most important common element of culture. Let's take a look at values. Values are ideas of what is desirable in life, okay? And so every culture will identify certain things as being of value. So I want to take a moment and take a look at what are some of our values here within the United States. Now, do keep in mind that we are a multicultural society. There is a lot of diversity within our country. So all people within our culture may not have the same values as everyone else, but generally, here is a short list of some of the common values that we all share as Americans. The very first thing that comes to my mind when I think about values in American culture is money. Money and what it can bring. Power, prestige, and material objects and stuff. Democracy. Free elections and individuals have rights. Another value within our country is individuality, being seen as individuals and being seen as independent. Another value is activity and work. We believe that it is better to do something, to be active, rather than just to sit and ponder it, to think about it. One last value that we share as Americans, equality of opportunity. Okay, we the people. Everyone should be provided the same chance to get ahead according to individual talents and efforts. Now, unfortunately, with some of our values, like the one that I just shared with you, equality of opportunity, we have this idea that this is very important to us, we value it, but unfortunately, we don't actually carry it out. All right, another major element of culture is norms. Norms are rules and expectations of behavior that develop out of a group's value system. So values lead to norms. Values are up here and behaviors are out here, what we do, okay, our behavior. And so when I hear the word norms, I immediately think behavior, okay? How are we supposed to act when in a classroom or at the mall or driving down the road? And society has all kinds of expectations for what we should and should not be doing in all social environments that we will go into, okay? Now, there is a classification of norms. There is what's called mores and folkways. And on the bottom left-hand side of your screen, you can see this classification of norms. Mores are norms that are widely observed and have great moral significance, okay? So not only are these norms very important, if you break these norms, there will be high penalty to pay. So murdering, okay, molesting children. These are examples of mores within our culture. And then we have folkways. Folkways are norms for routine or casual interaction, okay? They carry a low degree of importance, and if you break it, then there will be relatively a small amount of penalty that you will pay. For example, you pick up the phone and you go, hey, now that may be okay when your friends are calling you, but that probably will not be okay with your mom or dad, okay? They won't like that. Sanctions. So norms lead to sanctions. What are sanctions? Sanctions refer to positive or negative reactions to the ways in which people follow norms. All right, so positive sanctions refer to an expression of approval given for following a norm. When we follow the norms of society, when we don't break the law, people will smile at us, people will pat our back, you might get a certificate, a reward, or a raise. There are negative sanctions, and negative sanctions denotes disapproval for breaking a norm. So when we do not do as we are expected, then someone will give us a frown, they will yell at us, we will get a fine, and we could possibly go to jail. All right, so those are sanctions. All right, so that's a quick look at some of the common elements of culture. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you back again real soon. Take care. Bye.